First of all, my apologies for not posting a video on Sunday, which I did say last week would be my official upload day. As you're about to find out, I have a pretty legitimate reason as to why that didn't happen. It's kind of turned out pretty great actually, because I didn't know what to do a video on this week, and now I'm basically doing a video on the reason why I didn't do a video. Yes. As you could probably tell from the title, this is going to be the third vlog that I will be doing as part of my international exchange series. And this vlog will be on the dreaded unknown that is visas. When I first got accepted into my international exchange program with the University of East Anglia over in the UK, one of the first things I did obviously was, after I got my passport organised, was to go and check out whether I needed a visa, and if so, what I had to do to go about getting one. After contacting the UK Visas Immigration Department back then, they did tell me that because I'm a non-visa national travelling from Australia into the UK, that I could actually apply for what's called a student visitor visa when I get to Heathrow Airport. Basically, a student visa allows you to stay for 6 months pending that you're studying full-time. It doesn't allow you to work, and it doesn't allow you to do any kind of internships or kind of volunteer work or anything like that. But the good thing about it was that it doesn't have a fee if you apply for it at port of entry. So that was all well and good until on Friday afternoon, which is when this whole ordeal started. Everything figuratively and literally hit the fan. I decided to look up what kind of documents I would have to bring with me to be granted my student visitor visa at port of entry at Heathrow. I discovered that there is 2 different types of student visitor visas that you can actually get. There is a visa that you can apply for in Australia to get entry clearance before you leave for the UK, and that visa is a multiple entry visa, which basically means you can freely travel within and out of the UK and re-enter as many times as you'd like within the 6-month period. Now, the terrifying thing that I discovered upon reading that was apparently if you apply for your student visitor visa at the airport when you arrive in the UK, it is only a single entry visa, and that means that you can only enter the UK once and then leave it at the end of your study period. Now, the problem for me is that I intend to travel from mid-December until nearly the end of February when I come home around Europe for 2 months. And that involves me leaving the UK after I've finished studying and then re-entering to catch my flight back home, which I have already booked and paid for, back to Australia on the 20th of February 2015. Now, this is when I started to have a panic attack, meltdown, kind of just curl up into the fetal position and die. I was worried that once I left the UK and then wanted to re-enter to catch my plane home from London, that they wouldn't let me come back and that I would, be detained or deported or something ridiculous. Being the panic-prone person I am, I thought, oh my god, I have to apply for a student visitor visa, the proper way before I leave Australia, and I've only got a month. And it takes, 3 weeks to process them usually. So I started freaking out and I was so stressed. I just went and quickly applied for one online, booked my biometrics appointment scheduled for tomorrow up in Sydney, paid $160 for the visa, and then kind of just sat back and hyperventilated a little bit. I sent emails off to my host university asking, is it okay if I leave the country and then come back in to catch my flight home? Will I be able to do this with a visa at the airport? If I do apply at the airport, what documents exactly do I need to bring to guarantee getting the student visitor visa? After that, I emailed the UK Visas and Immigration people asking them the processing times for visas and whether if I had to apply for a visa before I left Australia, whether it would come in time, obviously. Now, the problem with having a panic attack over visas at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon is that none of these people were going to respond to me until Monday morning, if at all, because of the time difference between Australia and the UK. So basically for the entire weekend I had to pretend that the visa problem just didn't exist, which meant 2 sleepless nights and me trying to distract myself unsuccessfully. First thing Monday morning, I thought, that's it, I have no choice but to ring the UK Visas and Immigration Department directly on their London line. $20 later, got to love international phone charges. I finally got onto somebody who basically gave me the greatest news I've heard all week and told me that the visa that you get at the airport can be stamped multiple entry and that I could leave the UK and come back in to successfully catch my flight back home to Australia from London. He also sent me a list afterwards of all of the documents that I would need to guarantee I got the stamp on the day. And yeah, basically a wave of relief just like flushed over me. Oh, I was so happy. I didn't have to go and madly apply for a visa and go up to Sydney and then risk getting the application denied and then have no visa, and I was just, oh, the last couple of days have just been terrible. So after that, I went and requested a refund for my visa fee. I cancelled my biometrics appointment and I should be getting my money back in the next couple of days. I also received a reply email from the UK Visas Department email service and from UEA, both of them telling me the same thing, that I would be able to leave the UK and come back in. So yeah, that is my visa debacle panic meltdown that has been happening over the last 72 hours, and that is the reason why I did not post a video on Sunday. If you're going to study overseas and you're looking to apply for a visa, I would recommend, if you have the time up your sleeve, to get entry clearance prior to leaving Australia. It does cost a bit of money, but it's worth it in the long run because you don't have to worry, like me, about whether you would be able to get back into the country to go home. So yeah, this has been my unofficial guide on how not to visa, and I will see you all at my next exchange vlog, which I'll probably be making just before I leave. I'm flying out in 27 days now, so that's a little bit exciting. Until then, if you'd like to see more of my face, make sure you hit subscribe, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!